Hi everybody, welcome to What's Up Wednesdays with Renee Weaver-Wright here at My Virtual Academy. I brought in some acorns. I wanted to talk to you today about these acorns. And I have some friends that are 12 years old, 12-year-old twins, and they live in Arizona. And they were here visiting their grandma a couple weeks ago. And I don't get to see them very often, but they're just really delightful young ladies. And they were sitting underneath their grandma's acorn tree, oak tree I guess it would be, that would have acorns. And they don't have acorns in Arizona, so they were really fascinated with the acorns. And I asked them to pick some up for me and let me take a glass or a jar home of the acorns, because they were so intrigued by them, and I thought it would be a nice way to kind of remember them. And I thought it'd be a pretty fall decoration to have in my office and to have in a dish at my home. When I was sitting under the oak tree picking up acorns with my 12-year-old friends, I asked them about middle school, because they just switched to and started the 7th grade in a middle school there in Arizona, in Scottsdale. And I said, oh, you know, what's your favorite part of school? Which really is not a good question to ask a 12-year-old, because of course the answer was lunch, you know, is their favorite part of school. So I tried to delve a little bit deeper and ask them about this class and about that class. And I finally said to them, you know, which class do you go to that makes you happy to be in the class? Oh, Miss Pitt's class, they spoke right up. And I said, well, what is it about Miss Pitt's class that makes you happy to be there? And they said, she cares about us. We can really tell that she cares about us, and that's what a teacher should do, is a teacher should make you care. And it immediately made me think of our Step Up program that we have here at MVA, and our caring staff that we have in the Step Up program. Now, you might have heard on TV or all over the media today that today is Count Day. So this is the day of the year when students are counted throughout all traditional programs in the state of Michigan. So if you're not in school today, you won't be able to go back to a traditional school because of the fact that today was your count day. But we have an option for you, and it's called our Step Up program. And here with me today is Jason Clover, who is one of our key people in the Step Up program. And Jason, you've been doing this for about 4 years now.
About 4 years.
Correct?
That's correct.
And we have about 1,000 kids that are involved in this program.
Absolutely.
And it's a program where students complete a class once a month. We send a tablet to the students, and they do their coursework on the tablet. But the most important part of our Step Up program is the advocate that the student is assigned to. Could you talk a little bit about what an advocate does for our students?
Our advocate position, I like to describe to the advocates as it's kind of jack of all trades. They wear a lot of hats. They could be the student's counselor. They could be the student's big brother, big sister, someone to confide in, because a lot of our students are troubled, you know, and they have a lot of issues going on. So sometimes that's what takes them out of the traditional setting. So the Step Up program usually fits in real good with those type of students, and the advocate is there to coach the student towards class completion. So they're not the actual teacher. All the information is delivered through our learning management system that we work with for the students, and they work on their tablets, but the advocate monitors that student's progress and makes sure they stay on top of that student, letting them know what they're doing, if they're falling short of completing a number of assignments that we like to see them do, you know, kind of encourage them to get back on track and get those assignments completed, as well as offering assistance if that student is troubled with some of the courseware. So we have certified teachers if it's like a class like a chemistry or math, you know, where the skill set may be uncomfortable for some of the advocates to cover and deliver to the students. But the advocate position, it's very vital, because that's the in-between between the school and the student. You know, the advocate is letting the school know when the student has completed classes, when they're ready for a new class, how they're doing, if the student needs a little bit more time to complete the class. So the advocate is a very key component in working with those students and actually breaking that ice and showing that student that someone actually cares about them.
Yes. You know, what I hear as I'm walking through the office and I hear the advocates on the phone with the students, I hear them saying repeatedly, you can do it, you can do it. Can you give an example of a student that did it? that left an impression on you?
Absolutely. I remember Noah. I talked to his mom all the time. Noah was one of our students who was with us about 2 to 3 years before he graduated, so he was a consistent student, passing classes every month. And Noah really doubted himself. Noah had a lot of issues at home that his mom got him away from. And actually put him in a better environment where he could kind of focus on the schoolwork, and Noah just seemed to flourish. And he was really interested in being a police officer. It was cool at graduation to actually see him come out of the crowd, and he actually came on stage and gave me a card, just thanking me for encouraging him, because he was just saying that, you know, to hear that voice from myself and his advocate all the time, letting him know that he could do it, and he was actually going to reach his goals, just really propelled him forward, and he graduated, and now he's working with the police force.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's such an awesome story. And we have a lot of students that go into the military, right?
Absolutely.
Or they take advantage of the $500 scholarship.
Absolutely.
That we offer to our graduates.
The students, they utilize that $500 for like books and different things, you know, for like community college. You know, some of them may even want to go to a trade program.
Right.
So that $500 scholarship really helps the students out a lot.
Yeah, it does. It does. And our step-up students go through a regular graduation just like our other students, right?
Absolutely.
And we work with kids that are really actually 12 years old, 11 or 12 years old, just like my little friends in Arizona.
Yes, we have the babies.
All the way through 22 years old.
22,
right.
Yeah. So we have a wide range of students that we deal with. And the advocates, is interesting to see when they have some babies and then they have the older students and just the way they interact with the students, you know. So they may have to have a more gentle approach when they're dealing with the younger students versus some of the older students where they're like, hey, you know, you need to get on task, like you got to pick up the pace. It's cool.
And a lot of those older students too are working, right? They work during the day and they can do their coursework at night, and the advocates contact them during the evening. So
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be, a student could come with us if they have a full-time job during the day, because they could work at night. They really can work anytime they want, right?
And that's the beautiful thing about the Step Up program, that it's designed for the students who don't fit into the traditional setting, the students who have to go to school from 8 to 3 every day. Well, you know, some students work all day, or some students have children that they have to watch, you know. Some students don't have the transportation means to even get to school. So we deal with some students that may come out of a situation where they were in a detention center, and they may not be able to leave the home. So, but those students deserve an opportunity just like any other student.
That's
so
right.
it actually works good for those students in those situations where they can't fit into that traditional school setting.
Yes, exactly. So, well, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for what you do every day for the students. Jason, I always see him with a student, with a parent, with a probation officer, getting things taken care of and helping to get the students headed in the right direction. We really appreciate that.
That's what we're here for.
You're making a difference every day in a lot of students' lives, and we appreciate that.
Thank you, Renee.
So if you're interested in the Step Up program, this is a program that you can enroll in at any time during the year, and just click on the link below, and it will take you to the My Virtual Academy page, and call in, submit an application, and we'll talk with you about how you can become a Step Up student and become one of those high school graduates that feels like they've got a lot of folks they want to thank, just like Noah did with you that day.
Absolutely.
So I hope you have a great week, and we look forward to meeting with you again next week on What's Up Wednesday with Renee. So take care.